Good evening, everyone, and welcome to GrayManPrepping. It is time for Tactical Tuesday. We're looking to talk tactics, gear, and more. And it's going to be a little bit of everything, I think, because tonight's topic is, do you know how to do land navigation, aka orienteering? How's everybody doing out there? There, extra light on there to take out the artifact. All right. Well, I got pop-ups popping up everywhere here now. All right, so another one popping in here. So let's just go over here. And oh no, I don't want to hit in stream. I want to go hit comments. There we go. And take a look and see who all is here. Well, Walter Rogers was the first one to come in. Oh, I don't want to go British on it here. Troop 1351 came in, then Judy Butterfield, Geeky Gardens, then Chef Tech, and everyone's talking about the ad, all the weird ads they're getting. Tammy Harder came in, and Mark's rubbing it in our face. I got 8 quarts of Driscoll strawberries to clean and ready for freeze dryer, then 40 pounds of whole pork loin. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, interesting. My friend Ben Gilmore just put out a video doing a comparison between the Delta 3 Pro and one of the other ones here. So let's get on with this, though. Sumi is here, and evidently she's, quote, working online, but not yet back to work. Their servers are still down. And Lewis is here. Mother Earth Garden Club is here. And everybody's just making comments, saying hi, and throwing up compasses. Okay, so yeah, I actually did one. I forget what one of the last week or so. I did one of the live streams. I marked it as not being monetized, and they started throwing ads up on it. So I went back in and monetized it again, and then they stopped. Then they stopped putting ads on it. But you know, jeez. Ugh. All righty. So let's get on to this here. I'm going to, shoot, I forgot to do the pre there was a link I wanted to get ready, and I forgot to do it. So I'll have to do it once we get going here. All right. Whenever I say land navigation, I get all the military guys going, oh, we did that in the Army, or Marines, or in the whatever. I go, were you guys Boy Scouts? Yeah. Did you do it there? No. Didn't you do compass and map work called orienteering? Oh, yeah. Same thing, guys. And Kaylin's here. Woo! And, yeah, so land navigation generally requires a map and a compass, unless you just know you know where you're at, you know where you have to go. 70 degrees off of due north. You set your compass up, and then you start trucking. That's one way. But this is the merit badge for the orienteering for Boy Scouts of America. And I think, yeah, every one of our scouts in our troop got it. Shady Hill Homestead is here. What I think is neat about it is that if you have a national forest, a national state forest, state park. Some national parks will allow it. In their regional parks and some city parks, they will allow scouts working on their Eagle project to set up an orienteering course in the park. And then about 5 years later, another scout comes in along and refurbishes it, redoes it, because the rot out and start to fall over and stuff. So, but I know back in California, the East Bay Regional Parks District has several of them at several of their parks, and they got several. They got basically have one starting point, and depending which course you want to do, you follow the you can download and print off the directions on it, and you set your compass up and you start trucking, and you try to find the other 4x4 post with a little thing on top of it, and then from there you can line up and you keep on going, and you learn how to read the topographical map they print off with the directions on the side, and so you follow yourself around and you see how the slope is and stuff by that, and do that. Woo! All right. I use Mac. Well, the GPS can't even figure out where it's supposed to be going. Let's get this one here. Yeah. Now, some councils, each area is called a council. Will sometimes they'll offer courses for the adult leaders to learn how to do orienteering. And if you're not a scout leader, you can volunteer to go take the course and then be a resource whenever that troop wants to teach it. You can help teach it to the troop. Okay. Now, sometimes you can also volunteer to help teach it to the Cub Scouts too. And that way you get taught for free, and then you get to teach it, which keeps your muscle memory going and keeps that skill live and valuable with you. Our GPS likes to cross rivers where there's no rivers, where there's no river crossings. You know, there's a drive down this road here, go across the bridge. There ain't no bridge. There hasn't been one there for years. Go underneath the freeway here. There's no underpass under the freeway. The road dead ends right at the freeway. That could be true, Kaylin. That could be true. All right, next one here. Now, other than using orienteering course for going cross country, wow, the Thomas Guide or Thomas Brothers Guide. Yeah, Thomas Brothers maps right here. I've been using these since 77. And well, the current declination is changing big time over the last several years. You have to get a update every time you use it, because it's moved like in the last. All right, slowed down for the last year. Previous couple of years, it was moving like 100 miles or so at a year. Yeah, it's the north magnetic north is going. All right, so Thomas Brother maps, yeah, and they have them for whole states, for your whole state. Of course, back east they have one like the one for California size book. They'll have that for several states back east, and even MythBusters uses it. I had to throw that one in there, guys. All right, so different types of compasses. Sometimes these little cheap ones on the left, these little cheap ones, sometimes whatever little magnet they have underneath there to make it work, sometimes falls off and it doesn't work right. The one in the middle is the what do I want to call it? It's the basic 2.0, for Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts one usually doesn't have the mirror and the sighting line on it. It's just the base one. And that's what we teach them to start with this one. And once they learn how to do that one, then we tell them go out and get a better one with the flip up top and the sighting thing on it. And then we give them the harder stuff to do. Hey, Diana, too. How's it going? And of course, the one on the right here even gets even more. Has more bells and whistles on it. Does things a little bit better. Okay, so this is an online course I found, and yeah, the AI voice in it is kind of like, all right, yeah, you're teaching Cub Scouts. Okay, I get it. But this here, I'm going to see if I can get this. Let me escape out of this. And take that. Control C. And pull this down here. And first I want to put that into the chat. There's that link there. Let's see if this works. Okay, so this thing here, it has a slide there. You can download the you can view the PDF of it stuff. But hang on, I forgot. I got to do something here. Dang it! Got to stop sharing. I got to reshare with the audio on it. Share screen. Turn the audio on. There we go. I got all these pop-ups just popping up here. Jeez. There we go. All right, let's see if this works where you can hear it. The ad. It didn't give an ad when I was looking at it earlier. Skip ad.
Map and compass, learning the basics. Why would the Boy Scouts teach the use of map and compass?
Can you guys hear that?
The use of a compass is an outdoor skill that helps to build accurateness, instill personal security. It makes one self-reliant and confident in the outdoors. Why would the Boy Scouts teach the use of map and compass?
All right.
Builds patience.
Okay, Diane says yes, you can. All right.
Instills personal security.
Urban Garden Chronicles.
It makes one self-reliant and confident in the outdoors.
So you guys hear what the
types of compasses, like fixed dial, digital, good for zipper pulls.
This is a 12-minute course.
Scouting,
well, 12
not
and a half
in the
minute
Scouts
course. I'm going to pause it. So you guys can. I gave you guys the link there. It's in the description. I'm going to add it to the. It's in the chat. I'm going to add it to the description. I forgot to do that, but yeah. So there's that. Let me go ahead and drop this thing here down in here. Yes, Sumi, I love paper maps. And let's go back here. Okay, so that is a nice, easy little course. So we're doing basic type stuff, and to learn how to read a map, how to orient it, how to read the legend on a map, and be able to figure out what you need to do. Now, a lot of the maps have. Let me see if I can go ahead and bring up another page here. Let's bring up Google Maps here. Show for yeah. I'm just going to bring up a map here. Let's see. Let's go side chest there. Urban Garden Chronicles. Yes. Diana 2. Hey, Lewis.
Hey.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, works. Okay. Yeah. Outliers for squirrel sightings. Somewhere.
Can't the sun Can't
What
the
was that?
sun and the moon be used as? Can't the sun and the moon be used as a compass?
The sun can. The moon, you have to have a calendar to show where it's at and the time of day where it's at. You have to have a chart. Otherwise, because basically every hour it's in a different spot. So moon is a no-no unless you happen to have that booklet that shows where it's supposed to be at what time. But the sun, yeah,
Well, can't the stars too? Can't they be
yes,
used as well?
you have the North Pole on the end of the Big Dipper, Little Dipper. Yeah, so you knew that too. However, unless you are a non-novice, in other words, an intermediate or an expert navigator out there, you don't want to be doing nighttime. We would not let our scouts do nighttime until they passed a whole bunch of stuff off. And then for them to do nighttime, they had to have someone going out there as a shadow watching over them to make sure they weren't making mistakes. And as always, first time out at night, they all made mistakes. And so you have a scout that's making a mistake after going through everything, getting prepped for it. And the first time out at night, if you're going to try to do it your first time out at night, it might be a little bit tough. Hey, Mark.
Hello.
Yeah, because I know the sundials with the sun, right? To tell the time.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I would look at it, right? Because the sun, I don't know, the sun either sets or rises in the east and the west.
Yeah. Rises in the east, that's in the west, but you have to change the sundial like every couple days to account for Earth tilt and stuff like that. And
of course, and that's how I would learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now using your watch. Wait a minute, not your digital watch. It's got to be an analog watch.
I was just going to ask you about this because I learned how to do that a long time ago. Now I forget how to do it.
Yeah, I forgot how to do it too, and I taught it for a couple of years.
Yeah, everybody's like, that shows. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that shows that these skills are. She just lost the word.
Legitimate.
They degrade if you don't use them.
Oh yeah.
So,
but don't get me wrong. I can still do like end splices and eye splices and stuff with three twine rope. Yeah, I can still do all that with my eyes closed, but I forget how to do it tell which direction's which with a watch in the hour hand.
Yeah. One of the things that makes it hard with the watch and the hour hand doing that is daylight savings time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it screws it up. Yeah, you got to change your watch back an hour. Okay, now it's working. Now I'm going the right direction.
Yeah, put it back to standard time wherever you are. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there is the stick in the ground to find out which way is north, so you can orient your map to it, and you stick it in the ground, and of course you want it at an angle, to the north, to the south. And at noon, the shadow is in straight line, and that's north. Yeah. So then this is pointing north when the shadow is directly under it and everything's perfectly square and stuff. So, but using your maps, it's not like the computer here where north is always up.
Yeah, up, whatever.
Yeah, north is always up. But what is neat is the roads and stuff and creeks or canals or rivers between the computer and the other map are pretty much the same. Sometimes you will have on here a mark, a cross for a church. Of course, computers throw a bunch of other crap on here too that they don't have on regular printed maps. But then you also have showing on it. Let's see if I can get that line going here. It keeps making the line smaller and smaller. Well, this next to the Yellowstone Highway here is a line with hash marks on it. Railroad tracks.
Yep.
So let me see.
You can't find railroad tracks on maps too much anymore. They kind of don't put them on there.
You got to go to Thomas Brothers.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, like your GPS and that won't show railroad tracks.
No, they won't show that. And then, of course, you have your, all your different markings and stuff showing where, like, roundabouts, and you got stuff showing firehouses.
Hey, and what's that called? It's called a legend.
Yes. But if I take this to a different view here, of course, your maps won't do this here. But what this will do is, will that allow me to change it? Oh, now north isn't straight up and down. Your map's crooked. All right, which way is north? How do I figure which way is north? See, I just screwed everything up. I just screwed everybody up. Now, if I take this and turn this like this and then back out, it's at a weird angle. Unfortunately, I take it back to this and it reorients it to the north. But yeah. So unlike your the maps, if you don't have cell service and you can't use it now, unless we go and get rid of that. There is a program. I can't remember the name of it. It's in one of my books. It's on the book in the book from called the Thomas A. Watson's Dark Titan series. He has a large tablet and he has it downloaded onto the tablet all the time, so it doesn't matter whether he's out in the middle of nowhere or in town. He can just scroll up to the map and look around, find out where he's at, and then see what else he needs to go on his tablet map. But even though he has that, when he was at a truck stop, he grabbed all the Thomas Brothers maps he could and had his route planned out where he was going to go from down in Mississippi up to northern Idaho, the Coeur d'Alene, and had it mapped out where he would want to go, and took those pages, laid them all out, laminated them, because the power had already gone out, and he was going. And how did he laminate it without power? He took an iron and heated it up a little bit over the campfire and put it in, just not hot enough to make the laminate work. Which is why you guys need to do that beforehand. Laminate your maps ahead of time. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Caitlin always says she saw making a background noise. It's not. It's someone else's.
Caitlin, if you were on here and there was background noise, yeah, I'd be blaming you. Right now, it's Lewis's microphone causing echo. But he's in Canada, and we know how that is up there. It's Canada.
Yeah.
The trail maps show a good bike trail map will show active, inactive, and removed railroad tracks.
Yeah, the old road bed. Yeah,
the road bed, because a lot of bikers like to use those road beds. They're not fixed up. They take their mountain bikes out there. They're still in the city, but they're working themselves. It's a workout on those things because they're not smooth. Yeah. But yeah, orienteering courses, if you can, take one. Let me see. I got to bring up another website here to share with you. I almost forgot.
Oh, look, I'm getting an ad on my phone right now for OnX Off-Road Trail Maps and GPS App Store. Shocker. Really?
All right, guys.
Oh, and Harbor Freight ad, of course.
Yeah, I got a Harbor Freight ad going right now here, and I got a Carfax ad going over there. All right, Carfax ad is done. Harbor Freight is hanging. It's hanging. Now I got a Granger, and it went from the big sidebar Harbor Freight over the top chat, pushing the chat way down, to the Granger, pushing the chat way down. You can tell who pays the money to put it on there because they get that extra bonus one.
Oh, yeah.
They pay more money.
Harbor Freight's advertising hard now because they're about to get whacked with tariffs, so they want to get everybody starting to come there, so when the prices go up, they don't notice.
Yeah, all right. Now that it does that, I kick that up and I move it up, but it's still, I got to scroll down just a little bit to see, to put the chat on there. Here's something else I want to share with everybody. So I typed in USGS TOPO maps. That's topographical maps.
Mm-hmm. I have lots of those, mostly of
Now,
Maine.
if you have a place near you like North Face,
LL Bean
right.
used to sell them.
Yeah.
Camping World. A lot of the big stores used to sell them. They'd have racks of them
Yeah.
for mostly the local area, but not the whole country. There was a place up in Maine. It wasn't LL Bean. It was some other store. They had a whole room of nothing but the map drawers. And you just went to their index and said, I want this map. And it could have been anywhere in Maine, half of Canada. And you just open the drawer and there's a map there. And you just roll it up. They put it in the tube and $4, it's yours.
Jack, I was talking about the Harbor Freight ad showing on mine and on GrayMan, and the other one showing down here on Camp Patton watching it. And so, yeah. And so, but there was the one that had that was near ours, that they had an inside climbing wall. They had the ski section upstairs. They had the hiking downstairs. They had the biking downstairs over here.
Like Cabela's.
Yeah, like Cabela's, only bigger.
Yeah.
And then you go upstairs in the off the skiing's over here, but over on this side here was the pro hiker mountain climber section. You go over there and you can get the with the typographical maps in quadrangles, either whole quadrangles or quarter quadrangles.
Right.
And I have a nice set for Northern California up around Sierra City, Bassett's, Packer Saddle, and the others, where we go deer hunting. And my and
they're
my
great
maps
for souvenirs too. If you go somewhere, you have a topo map, buy two.
Yeah.
I put a lot of them behind in picture frames and hang them up.
Yeah. Well, these we went and got multiples of them just because we could get them, and we take it out in early September to where we were going to go hunting before hunting season opened up, and we go up there where they were logging, and we'd mark the new logging roads on there because the logging roads wouldn't be on the map yet.
You can download topo maps from USGS directly, but not the best quality. If you want good quality, you pay for it.
Yeah, and so these maps were. If I get myself centered here, at least 32 inches wide and 24 inches tall. You roll it up. I mean, it's a big old tube map, and we have those up there, and so we mark on that, and with a colored pencil, put a date on it so we know when that road was there, and we compare it to the other maps. And if it's not on the other maps, we're like, this is a new one. And if one of the other ones had been cleaned up where the road was done, and they came in with a motor grader and angled it and tried to restore it a little bit, but there's still a nice trail through there.
Yeah,
we change it from road to trail, so we know we couldn't take the trucks up there.
We use that in Boy Scouts. We had a topo map with a piece of plexiglass on top
REI!
of it.
REI! Yes, Diana! REI!
Yeah, REI,
yes.
That's right.
Yes, REI.
We had a topo map
in Walnut Creek, California. There was also another place, a small one that was just a hiker's thing, and they had even a bigger supply of them, but they charged a little bit more. But they had, I mean, you could get all of California, all of Nevada, all of Utah, and all of Arizona.
Except for Area 51. They wouldn't give you that one.
Oh, yeah. But it didn't show anything. It just showed topographical. That was it.
Yeah, no buildings.
It looked like it looked like a desert out there, and topographical lines, and that was it.
Yep.
And so when you're looking at Bloom Lake, you're seeing, oh, it's a dry lake. I ain't going there.
Yeah, we had a topo map of the Boy Scout camp on a big table covered in plexiglass, and we had dry erase markers. And we could plot out, and we would write underneath it on one piece of plexiglass where the trails were, And then the other piece on top of that, you could write which way you want to go, and then plot it out, and then write it down, and go out and do your orienteering.
Okay, and they got a bunch of different things here. I'm going to show some of these. So the first one here is historical topographical maps, and let's see, so current and historic topographical maps are available digital, printed, or to order. So yeah, you can order them now. But yeah, I mean,
that's an old one.
Yeah, that's an old one. There we go, made it a little bit bigger there. But you can see all the lines here on it, and the lines have on it. It will allow me to go bigger. No, it won't allow me to go zoom any bigger, will it? No, it won't. There's writing in here for the peak tops and the low spots, and every so many lines it has a number on it, so you know where it is. Choose this border right here where my cursor is moving across there. So yeah. All right. The links on this one here evidently all go to the same page, and you just got to choose a different one on that page. So yeah, so you can do. There's a lot of things here you can do on. Let's see what this one brings big. See, so this is the Morrison, Colorado quadrangle, and it gives your minutes and all the stuff on it. And this is the 7.5 minute series, and some of these are. It has a date on it. This was March 2022, approximately when this one was put out. I'm looking to see if it has it has the declination down here on the bottom. But that declination was 3 years ago. And it's changed. So, but it gives you the scales and everything else, gives you a legend of major roads, interstates. Come on. Bring me in there. Won't bring me in anymore. It looks like it's 4-wheel drive for this trail here, and it has all the different type of roads and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, these things here are great. And so you want to get some for your area. If you have a feeling you're going to need to be able to bug out and stuff to get home. And what works great for laminating these on the cheap, clear contact paper, like for shelving, contact paper.
Yeah, just be real careful with it, because if you get a cockeyed, you ain't pulling it off.
Yeah. Well, usually what we would do is we would overlap a couple inches, and we'd put it down, and one person you'd take several people to do it. You have one person holding the roll up, one person working the bottom. As soon as it stops, someone else puts their hands to hold the map and the bottom steady, and you have one of those little flat squeegee things for doing wallpaper, and you start working your way across, working all the bubbles out. You get all the way across, and once you have that done, then you
do the back side.
Then you turn it over, but you still have sticky stuff showing now from the excess. So that's where it gets a little bit trickier. And that one we try to match it in the paper so we can fold the front side over the back of what we just put on the back. To crypto and smart news apps. Well, this is smart. This is a smart, but yeah. So yeah, you can do some really cool things with this. And even if you're not all out into orienteering or land navigation, if you have one of these maps, you know which way is north, you orient it to the north, and you look at it, okay, I see that peak over there. That's got to be this peak here. Yeah, because that peak is over there. There's that flat top, and you know where to walk. You can find where rivers are, the safe way down the rivers, because the lines, if the lines are spread apart, wide going down to the river, okay. The lines are really close going down to the river. That could be a
Yeah, there's a difference between, or you can be in the middle of nowhere and orient your map. Oh my God, dude, stop barking. You could be in the middle of nowhere, orient your map to north, but you still don't know where you are. Now you got to figure out where you are.
Yeah. And that's why you start looking around. Okay, all right, that's the highest peak here. That looks like either high, maybe it's about the same peak distance. You look on the map north. Okay, here's 2 high peaks on the map. Okay, like, all right, here's a high peak, and here's a high peak over here. So I got to be somewhere in between there.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you see where the river is, you go, oh, yeah, there's the river down there. That's something I was really good at before I was even in Cub Scouts. I mean, I was good at that. I mean, so someone hand me a map. Okay, oh, I'm right here.
Yeah, my daughter used to freak out because she lived up in Jersey at the time, and she told me where her apartment was, and I went to Google Earth. She's like, "Oh, go to Google Earth. I'll show you where I live." I literally zoomed 3 times, and I was looking at her balcony. Yeah, everything's flat. That's true. Elevation change.
Same thing for parts of Texas, parts of Oklahoma, parts of Nebraska are flat.
Aside from the flat part, I can see on Google. I've done it a couple of times. They updated it, but I had a row of cedars in the front of the house, and you could see those cedars, and then I had them all cut down, and they updated the map, and they were gone.
Yeah.
Oops. Now you have to find a nearby house with a different color roof so you can zoom in on that and then know where you're at.
Hang on a second. You just made me want to check something out here. Okay, so last year, okay, let's see what's going on here. I'm just looking at something here. So,
you think about those trees you had cut down?
Those trees are no longer here. One of these, they did take out one of the trees back here that I took out the summer before. So one of the little trees, one of the 4 trees I took out the summer before is gone. The dirt is up there widening for it doesn't have the cover over the patio there yet, but the driveway, it's concrete driveway sport. But yeah, the trees are still there. That tree's finally dead. This tree is still there. That one's gone. The apple tree got cut down this winter by my son-in-law. But yeah, it was a disease and stuff. But with the maps, Kaylin, I want to talk to Kaylin real quick. Kaylin, with the maps here, the tiny print, that's why you can get the quadrangles, you can get the half quadrangles, you get the quarter quadrangles. They're on the same size sheet of paper, but it's just blown up. And when you get a quarter quadrangle, you got to pick which quarter of the one. And it's, yeah, that's the one. Once we knew where we were going hunting at, we would take that one so we could find all the nice little nooks and crannies and the what's called the saddles and stuff and what the deer trails are. So we get right in on top of them. Go ahead, Mark.
See, I like to tell people one is never truly lost, just temporarily misplaced. And I would tell like my buddy Richard, and he's listening right now. He can't hit the like button yet. We're going to work on that, Richard. But yeah, anybody want a key? How about
who wants a Virginia vacation? Jeez.
I'm in Maryland, but I don't want a Kia. Anyway, so my wife would be like, where are we? I was like, well, I know for a fact we're between Route 93, Route 87, 265, and 15. We're in that quad somewhere. And if for some reason I'm on the outside of that and I'm going too far and I know I went over a road or missed a road, now I know I'm in the state of New Hampshire. And if I miss that, at least I know I'm somewhere between the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, the Canadian and Mexican borders. So I'm here somewhere. I just keep going until I find something.
Well, if you're not hiking with your wife, you also know, I am east of Ohio. I mean, east of Ohio.
Yeah, I'm east of Ohio, west of the Atlantic, and south of the Great Lakes, and north of Florida. So yeah, if it all of a sudden gets flat and hot, I know I'm in Florida.
And if you start hearing ding 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 ding,
I'm in Tennessee. Yeah.
All right, we're backtracking.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was like. Nope.
Yep. I don't want to go canoeing on this river. We're out of here.
You're right. You know, I never did. I saw little clips and stuff that I've never watched the movie.
Oh, you got, well, yeah, you kind of got to watch it. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So, So if you're worrying about having to bug out, or you're worrying about a temporary emergency situation where the roads are jammed up and you need to find another way home, I'm going to give you a prime example of this: the Loma Prieta earthquake in Northern California. San Francisco Bay Bridge had a section do its save the bridge and have the section drop out so it didn't tear itself apart. The Golden Gate Bridge was closed for inspections. The San Mateo Bridge was down for inspections. The Dunbarton had slight damage on it, and it was closed. The Martinez Benicia Bridge was closed for a couple hours. There, you get around. If you're in San Francisco, actually, let me bring that up here. Hang on.
Yeah, you got to go way around. That's a long drive.
Yeah,
and those roads are probably packed and just jammed up with traffic.
Yeah. Let me show you. Let me show you here the bridges I'm talking about. Okay, so this is the San Francisco Oakland Bay Bridge. Right about where that 80 is, where they had the section fall out of it, where it functioned properly. There's the Golden Gate Bridge. Here is the San Mateo. This is the Dunbarton Bridge. This here is the San Rafael Bridge, going from Richmond to San Rafael. Up over here is the Martinez Benicia Bridge. No, this is the Carquinez Bridge. This is the Martinez Benicia Bridge here, because there's Benicia. Then there is the Antioch Bridge. All of those bridges were closed.
Ooh.
Yes. And even when they're not closed, it's stop and go traffic during commute time on those bridges.
Yeah, well.
All right. If you were over in San Francisco, you've heard on KCBS News that there was a collapse on the Oakland Bay Bridge. It ain't going to be opening up. Golden Gate Bridge is, there you go, Golden Gate Bridge, is down. And then you heard that these others are, you got to go all the way down into San Jose, basically following 580 down, turning around, coming back, and try to work your way up, whether it's through up Fremont to Hayward, to Oakland, to Berkeley, or if you're going up to San Ramon, Walnut Creek, or Martinez, or if you're heading out to Brentwood, where a lot of the more affluent had moved out to Brentwood, or out to Livermore, or even some of them were commuting from Tracy. I know a lot of people that commuted from Tracy all the way into San Francisco, or even Manteca into San Francisco.
If you wanted to get all the way up to the other side of where the Golden Gate was, you had to go all the way up with no bridges. You had to go through Stockton, all the way up there, then over, and then down to get
Actually,
home.
There's a secret bypass here. Where is it? Come on, show me it. Dang it. There's one in here, Highway 4 up. Crap. It's not showing it. There's one going around Bethel Island. There's little back road bridges here, and none of those were shut down. But otherwise, yeah, you got to go up to a lot. Once they were on 580, because everyone was going 580 up to Stockton, up 5 to Highway 12, back over to Fairfield, and then down into Marin County, or down over to Marin County. Yeah.
As a crow flew, 10 miles. As the car drove, 3 days.
Yeah, I mean, what people were doing once they started going down, they heard how bad it was. People were finding Motel 6s and everything else that were still open down in Redwood City, San Mateo, because San Francisco got hit harder then San Mateo, Redwood, Palo Alto, Mountain View, San Jose. They were, they got so far. They were out here over here in the Stockton, Netherlands. No, they weren't going home. They could, by the time they got around this stuff here, it had been like 8 hours. It was into the nighttime, and they were just stopping because it was taking people 4 or 5 hours just to get from San Francisco to San Jose. But if you knew the walking routes to get around all the jammed highways,
that's assuming you want to abandon your car and walk.
What you do is you find a parking lot, one of the a security parking lots, and you just park it there. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. Or
tomorrow,
whatever.
You're not going to walk all the way around that in a day.
No, but the thing is, so the only thing that was working, and it wasn't working for a little bit.
Look, ferry.
Where is it?
They got a ferry. They got a ferry.
Yeah, route? I'm looking for the ferry. The ferries. There were ferries from the Berkeley Marina, from the Embarcadero down here, going over to either down here by Indian Basin, up by Pier 39, which is right up in around here. Pier 39 is up in here. But you can see all these tracks here, these lines here. Ferry tracks. Those are ferry tracks. I didn't know ferries drove on tracks. No, but that shows the pathways of all the ferries going around. Boom, 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 all over the place. Yeah. And they actually brought in ferries from someplace else, a couple of them, temporarily for about 6 weeks. I know they borrowed some from Canada. They brought them down the coast.
Not anymore. They're not giving us anything anymore. Thanks, Lewis.
Well, Ireland's charging 150% tariffs on everything until we take Roseanne Barr back, or Rosie O'Donnell? Take one of them back.
Rosie O'Donnell, yeah.
Yeah, we got no. Some states said, no, we'll pay $200 if you keep them.
Yeah.
Hey, Aiden here, how's it going? Moon over Miami, welcome.
You can keep your whiskey or your scotch and your potatoes. You keep her. Yeah. We don't want her.
Yeah. You have to find answering the question up here. Topographical maps that I had. I got it from REI, some from REI, but the one in Walnut Creek, had a bigger selection. So we got the full quadrangles and the quarter quadrangles, and yeah. When I was going deer, I got like 20 maps, of the area we were hunting in.
You could literally Google topographical maps, and there's a million stores out there you can buy from. They're all from the USGS. You can go to their site.
Yeah.
And you may or may not get them from them, depending if they have them in print anymore. But most of them are in print, or they're in archive, and they just have to print one for you. I want to pick up a paper map of my property area where that's at. I downloaded it off the USGS map, but it's a little wonky. So,
all right, here I typed in where to buy USGS topo maps. USG quads fast ship at mapstore.mytypo.com. And then from the USGS store, you can order them from the USGS store. But then I'm gonna sink this down a little bit more. I'm gonna go in Idaho Falls.
Yep.
Lewis is back.
There he
is.
So there is
a USGS office in Idaho Falls on Jones Street. I can go there and buy them there.
Well, they probably don't have everything in stock there, but they probably have the local ones.
They have probably have Idaho there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What's that,
Lewis? They will have part of Montana because of Yellowstone.
Oh, okay.
So the numbers on the maps, you know how you got the north and south and then east and west, and they got the time on it, right?
Yep.
What's that all about?
Longitudes and latitudes. So, do I got one of those other ones up here still?
Yeah, it's like 18.06.135 north latitude by, and that's your line, because the lines get closer. The closer the lines get together, the more decimal points you get.
Yeah, and
you have your north and magnetic north. Oh, don't forget about that.
Yeah, that's your declination. Now, what you can't see, because it's hard to see on this map, even if you got a big screen like I do, because it's hard to see it, where every number is, there's a dotted red line going, faint red line, very faint,
Right
going across to the matching number on the other side. Everyone, and then going from top to bottom, same thing. And so you can say 97 by 80 would be right where my cursor is here.
So if you go to Google Earth and zoom in on your house, and then click the button there, look at the bottom of the screen. It'll give you the longitude and latitude in like 8 decimal points. I mean, it'll tell you exactly, longitude this and east or west or north or south, and it'll tell you exactly where you are by decimal points on your latitude longitude. With that, you can.
It's not showing on Google Maps.
Google Earth, not Maps. Earth. Google Earth.
Google Earth. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because if you tap on it, boom, it just tells you, and it tells you the elevation, and because that's how I figured out where I stood at the property with Canyon. I'm at 1,200 feet, or 1,400 feet or something. So yeah, just click on, just tap it on Google Earth, and it'll tell you exactly the location, your elevation, and it won't tell you the temperature or who lives there, but
Okay, I'm looking here inside. Okay, it's going to be, I'm just trying to do it here on my computer because my phone has no internet access because I'm totally untraceable with my phone.
There it is.
But, yeah.
Where are you? You're in Idaho Falls?
South of Idaho Falls.
Okay,
Town called Basalt.
Oh, Basalt.
About 10 miles south of Idaho Falls.
Basalt.
Basalt, yes. Basalt or Basalt.
There we go. And it's zooming out and rotating around the Earth and zooming back in. And oh, look at that. There it is. So let's see. If I look hard enough, I could probably find your property. You in the grid?
I'm right up. All right. There's the grid.
I found you.
Right up over here.
Yep. Gotcha. So there you are. Oh, there it is. I see the tree line. So the middle of your blue roof on your house is at 43 degrees, 19 minutes, 2 seconds north, 112 degrees, 10 minutes, and 7 seconds west.
So you could use these numbers to track it down on the map.
So degrees are like a clock. There's 360 degrees in a circle. Yeah. So that's your circle, and that's your 43 degrees. Now 19 minutes, because there's 60 minutes in an hour. That's 60 more lines in between your degrees. And then seconds is another 60 lines. And the more you zoom in, the more accurate it gets.
Yeah.
And you are at 4,589 feet, right in the middle of your blue roof garage or house there.
Yeah. On maps. Let me see if this brings it up here. Where is it? All right. Start talk with Neil. I can't for the rest of his name. There is Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Tyson, whatever.
Yeah, Neil Tyson. One of their things early this year or late last year, they were talking about how maps work, and he was talking about it. So you got 360, and he was going down, and it was it was a full one of the 45-minute podcast ones, but he was going through and explaining it, and he and his comedian sidekick were there, and another astrophysicist was there, and they're all talking about how it works and stuff. I'm sorry, Jack. I was like, eh.
Oh yeah, my phone is blowing up ads like every 5 minutes. It's sad. Yeah. But I'm just letting it play because I'm just letting it go. So you might get 8 cents out of this one, maybe.
Yeah. So I guess Star Talk has its own channel type stuff. So you can go in there and try searching, talking about how degrees and longitude, latitudes and stuff, and you might find that video on it. It was it's what I usually watch his shorter versions, but that was a good one I watched on that one. That was Star Talk. Yeah.
The Mystery of Gray Man.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, so hopefully you guys learned a lot, or at least learned enough to really pique your interest on doing things and start looking into it.
You got everybody zooming in on your house now in your driveway.
Or they're trying to zoom in on theirs.
No, I'm looking at yours. I see a pickup truck. That's all I see is a pickup truck. The rest of the stuff, I'm not sure what it is. It's a little blurry.
Well, that's going to be a Coyote tractor. There's going to be a bunch of IBC
10/7 of 23 is when that image was from.
Should be a Coyote tractor somewhere on there. Should be a ride-on lawnmower there. Should be a bunch of IBC
I can't zoom. I can only zoom in so far before it just turns to a blurry mess.
Yeah, because you're not there. If you were there doing that, probably zoom in closer.
I do like the blue roof. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
that's where a lot of the water and food storage is. So it's
wait, hold on. I can put the little man down in front of your house and look right in. There we go. Let's see. Oh no, there's a dump trailer, the silver pickup, a couple totes. There's a Coyote tractor, and under the on the edge of the property there, next to a fence, something all the way in the back looks like some other kind of trailer dump thing, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a drag box next to the fence, and
I'm creeping on you now.
Yeah, that's before I took out that fence and that's before the driveway went in.
What's with the what's with the rust stain to the left of your 3-bay window there on the side?
Oh. Look above the rust stain. What's above?
Oh, there you go.
It used to go out before I bought the house. Before he you notice the siding there is a little bit different there.
Yep.
Well, they used to go out and they had a cinder block chimney built up there for the fort. He took that down, went through got a new one stuff, but the cement slab that's there right up in front of that.
Oh, I see the rust on that.
Has some iron rebar there, and the rain and snow comes off, hits that, and splashes the rust up onto the side of the house.
Oh yeah, you got no gutters.
That's before I got gutters. Yeah, I got gutters now.
Wow, yeah. I'm totally creeping you out now because I'm like literally looking in your windows and stuff. That's weird.
Oh, you can't. You look in the windows. What do you see? I see a couple box fans. I see a window.
The shades are down because the sun is up.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, there's a box fan. Yeah, there's a box fan to the right, to the left of your front door.
Yeah,
and an air conditioner hanging out the window. That looks like to be about a 5,000 BTU GE. Okay, now I'm
it's a lot smaller. Anyways, yeah, so you can do all sorts of things from we're working on the maps now let me go back here. Using the maps here and stuff, you can figure out, okay, if I need to go to Idaho Falls, let's straighten this out. So I'm going to pin myself there. I want to go to Idaho Falls. Well, the highway here, I don't want to walk along the highway, so I'm probably going to walk all the way down over to here. let's see if I can make this work right here for you guys. And I'm going to go all the way down to there, the white line up here. And then I'm going to go probably just up to here. And then I'm going to go over to the next. It doesn't go. That road doesn't go all the way through. So I'm going to have to go all the way up to this one here. Jog over to this one here, which does go through. Go on up here. All the way up to this area here. Go there. And that puts me that's just getting to Shelley. And then I got to jog all the way over to, which one is it here? That one there, up to that one there, over to this one here, up into Idaho Falls.
You literally have the canal on your property. That's cool.
Yeah. So, get back down here. Blackfoot went too far. But yeah. So I can track out maps, or if I want to walk along the canal right away. I can't cross under the railroad tracks or there, but I can if I go over here. Let's take that off. So if I go from here, I can figure out how far it's going to take me, and then start following the canal, walking along the right of way of the canal, up through the follow the canal all the way up. And where the canal goes under the road, I just walk across the road. I pick up the canal over here, and I just keep following right along the canal.
Yep. See, I know when I'm in my truck, my work truck, my furthest out during my week, my normal territory, my furthest out, if I can't drive home and have to walk, it's a 3-day walk.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more depending on whatever. If I'm on weekend coverage, it could be up to a 4.5 or 5-day walk, depending on where I'm stuck at and what highways I might have to walk near or around, but sense of direction helps.
And so this one here, I'm up in Shelley, and I'm at 5.5 miles. And by the time I get out of Shelley, this is a straight shot up to here, I'm at 6.5 miles. And I just follow it right on up. And I'm not sure how far up this canal here goes. But I just follow the canal. I can follow the canal all along. So the canal goes up here and goes under the freeway here. This one maybe I'll have a big enough thing that I could actually walk under the freeway or under the highway.
You can always walk over the freeway if you're walking.
Well, it's not this isn't the freeway. This is the highway. At this point, it's 2 lanes each way with a middle up here, and okay, I'm getting there. And this is where it ties off of the Snake River, 9.3 miles away. There's a little dam here, and this feeds a lot of the different irrigation ditches. And so if we need to turn our water on outside of normal irrigation times, we got to go up there and open the gate and, kind of let everybody know, hey, all right, power's down. We're going to open up the irrigation ditch so everybody can have water since their pumps aren't working, and we're going to let water flow through the irrigation ditch. But yeah, see, from there, I'm on the far outskirts of Idaho Falls. Right here is Town and Country Nursery, which I've talked about several times. And so, yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and stop sharing. And Lewis dropped out again. I guess he didn't get set in there.
Jimmy wants to know, how can you tell when the image is from? So on Google Earth, when you click on something, and then sometimes you have the little man, which is the Street View guy, you can drag it down, and it'll tell you at the bottom. when the image is from.
Yeah.
On Google Earth, it says it right along the bottom. Oh wait, hold on a second here. No, you got to literally. It just tells you imagery date. Oh yeah, imagery date on the left side. It just says Google imagery date. That's on Google Earth.
All right, let me scroll in here and see. Now, overhead views, it's not, I'm looking down at the bottom here. It says image copyrighted 2025, but that's obviously not 2025.
That's the copyright date, not the imagery, the actual day the camera took a picture
now,
from
for,
space
for
or whatever.
Actual imagery dates for this. Now, see, this has been several years since I poured concrete.
Yeah.
And so this image date is July 2021, right down in the bottom down here. See where that little arrow's flicking back and forth down there? That's where it says the image date.
That's the Google Street View image, not the Google Earth image. They're different.
Right. That's the street image here for that. And if I go around this side here, and it's still the same image. Yeah. So July is the last time they drove our street. And so this July, they should do it this July again, because the previous time was about 4 years before that.
Yeah. That's where you want the kids out there in the driveway so they can, like, their not their faces, they'll be blurred out, but be like, look, you're on the internet. You're on Google Street View.
What is that strange concentric circle on the right?
What? Oh, that's off of Google Earth. That's a farm. When you zoom down in and look, you got that half semicircle. That's a farm with the irrigation thing that goes back and forth in a semicircle.
I don't know. If you're talking about Randy, if you're talking about what I'm showing right over here, this little circle here, this is the compass. If this image here is what you're talking about. If you're talking about
to the left, on the left side up there. Yeah, that's your
that's where the pivots for irrigation pivots back and forth. You see those big pipes with big wheels on it, kind of walks and sprays. Yeah, that's there. This one here, they have pipes. The laborers come out and move the pipes across. This one here has a pivot on it. This one here has the pipes going across it and a pivot. So there's a pivot right there. You can see the pivot.
Oh, that's the pipe. The pivot's right up top there.
So here's the tracks for the pivot here. But they also, for the pivot only covers part of it. And so the rest of it, they lay pipes out there.
Right.
So when this has greenery on it, you'll see the rings like these others do. For the pivots, and so you can see pivots and stuff. How the different sized ones have different pivots on them for the agricultural work and stuff.
Good times.
Hey, that's okay if you're not a farm girl. It's just you're not from an area that has them. Even if you're not a farm girl, if you drive through an area and has it, once you see it, you realize it.
Yeah, you see these like these single 2-post with 2 wheels on it with pipes running between a whole bunch of them. It's a pivot sprinkler. In the summertime or whatever, you can actually see them shooting water long distances with their ginormous sprinklers on top that just go poof, 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 and slowly rotate around and shoot water everywhere. They're cool.
Or if you want to learn about them, there's a YouTube channel called Laura Farms, and she's had the property now for about 5 years. She and her husband, they bought the property. They got married, bought the property, or she bought the property, got married. His property right now, they combined, whatever. Anyways, they have problems with their pivots every now and then. They show them going out and repairing the pivots and how the pivots work and everything on it.
Yeah, they're cool. They have like gear drives, like those the old little the sprinkler tractor that you would lay your hose down, and
Yeah,
it would
I got
follow
3 of
the
those.
hose around. It's
Yeah.
like that, except it just goes in a semicircle, and each wheel drives a little bit faster depending on how far from the center it is.
Yeah.
So it keeps the pipes sort of straight.
Yeah.
Sort of. Not always.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to wrap this up here. Coming up here. Get up here. All right, so Thursday is the Midnight Ride. Friday on Camp Patton Family Compound is Minerals for Your Garden. The Green Wizard has not committed coming on. Ron Netzel, that's it, Ron Netzel. So we'll see whether or not he shows up. Saturday back here on GrayManPrepping is After California Falls into the Sea. What are your plans? Because hey, California produces a lot of the food for America. Monday, next Monday is Off-Grid Canning, and then next Tuesday here, we're getting into a certain type of tactics. The topic is, do you have enough life insurance? And we're going to talk about the different types of life insurance, the type that you can take loans against tax-free and interest-free, because it's your policy, but it's got to be a specific type. So we're going to talk about that. And I'll be giving out a lot of links for you guys to go to, people that are smarter than me, so you can learn about that stuff. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in. And we'll see you hopefully Thursday on the Midnight Ride. Well, that's 10 o'clock Eastern. All right. Take care.
Have a good night.